Hello and welcome again. This is Brian from BMAcomics.com and I'm bringing you the weekly podcast. Today's topic is going to be the best writers of 2019. Now, I am sorry that it's a little late because the goal is for this to be on Tuesday nights, sometime between 10 and 11. And if I'm right, I believe it's 11:44 we're finally starting this. So it is a little late, but let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to try to focus on 6 writers for today. I was going through it in my head and just tried to say, alright, let's do this real quick. Who are the writers that I like? And the not the first one that came to my mind, but the one that I'm going to talk about first is Matthew Rosenberg. Now, upon further research, I realized 2019 wasn't the year that I was thinking about for Matthew Rosenberg. It was more so 2018, but I'm going to still give him credit for it now in 2019 because I didn't do this last year for 2018. So we're going to go ahead with it. Hello, everybody in the chat that is joining. How are you guys going? Is the sound better? I mean, I tried to get something quick for the audio. I hope this makes the live stream sound a little bit better. Um, and it's funny, yes, I'm Eastern, so I'm sitting here complaining that it's 11 o'clock, but you're right, it's still 9:44 somewhere, right? Okay, so Matthew Rosenberg. I won't keep this long. I'll just run through them real quick. Matthew Rosenberg, two of the things that he did that I really liked were The Punisher and Uncanny X-Men. Both of those did come out in 2019, so that is why he made the list, and I am giving him credit here. Now, the next person on the list is going to be Kelly Thompson. Now, I won't say is one of my personal favorites, but based off of some of the feedback that I've been getting from you guys, I'm gonna say that Captain Marvel apparently is good. West Coast Avengers didn't last long, but it was funny. The 2 issues of it, the first 2 issues, are the ones that I read. It was funny. Gwenpool's cool. The rest of the characters, I'd say, are C-list Marvel characters that all came together. Actually, I'm gonna call them all C-list characters because Kate Bishop, I wouldn't call her a C-list character, and she was in it. So, that's that. Oh, and there's Mr. and Mrs. X, which I would say, that was well received, pretty good. I did not read it thoroughly, but I do know many people enjoyed it. That's the feedback that I got from you guys, and that's one of the reasons why when I do the weekly videos, where I'm talking about the comic books coming out, that I really do like getting you guys' feedback on that, because to me it's good to hear what other guys like, what you guys like, and it helps with videos like this when I'm trying to compile what was everybody's favorite. I don't want it to be just my opinion alone, because as I'm going through the video, I'm going to give my opinion. It'd be nice also to get you guys' opinion. So that's why it's also good to have you guys here on the live stream and in the chat. So number 2, Kelly Thompson. As we continue, we're going to go with the next on the list is Jason Aaron, who did a lot. Now, one thing you're going to notice about this list is not just the people who are my favorite writers, but they had to have done a couple of things that I find were good, or that I realized that you guys, I enjoyed that. I was in and out of it. I couldn't stick with it every week because, I mean, it's just hard to keep up with everything every week, to be honest. But The War of the Realms was another good one. Conan the Barbarian, he did, and I know that was very well received. Also, Avengers was good, and there's an indie book that he did, which actually, let me not, because that one I didn't get much feedback on, actually. But I can say, for my own personal experience, I did enjoy Jason Aaron for the bits of his story that I did, and War of the Realms, and Avengers. So far, we are, what is that? 3 in so far, and we're going to keep this going. Cause yeah, Thor, Jason Aaron Thor. Like, I liked it before Jason Aaron. I can't really say that I did Thor. So Nerdy Blurb TV out there. Wanna give a shout out to Nerdy Blurb TV. Big fan of his, so you guys should check him out. But yeah, Thor, right? Okay, so next on the list, I'm sorry, as I was saying, sorry, before I continue, just yeah, before Jason Aaron, to be honest, I can't remember really reading about Thor in current times. Like I've looked back at some of the old Thor things, mostly for research, or just seeing Thor in events and when other things were happening, and maybe being a part of the Avengers. But until Jason Aaron, I really, to be honest, can't say that I really dug Thor as a solo character. Okay, so next on the list is going to be Mr. Chip Zdarsky, another one of the writers who I'm a big fan of. He has a couple of things that he did that I liked, but as far as 2019 goes, Daredevil. I'm gonna start it right there. Daredevil. I'm a big Daredevil fan. I liked Daredevil right before Chip Zdarsky was Charles Soule, and I was really enjoying that run. And Chip Zdarsky taking on after it, I think, me personally, went very well. I had the benefit of reading it continually. I was not, although I like Daredevil, I was taking a small break during last year and ended up getting the pleasure of reading it back to back, which is the beauty in a lot of these books, which is why, to be honest, for a lot of the things I like trade weighting, because some things, a lot of things are easier to read when you can read them consecutively and not break it up. And I am also now realizing the chat dialogue that I put on screen is too small to read. So it's hard for me to read the chat as I'm going because, but I can still check it out. Um, yeah, trades. Trades are a big thing. I'm a big fan of trades because storing single issues is difficult. Plus, it's just easier to read stories. And cost-wise, trades are cheaper. So I am a big fan of trades, and that is where I am going to switch a lot of my physical inventory, not inventory, my physical books to. I'm going to start doing a lot of trades instead of the single issues. So, I'm sorry, so back to Chip Zdarsky. Oh, another thing of his, Sex Criminals. Funny thing that I do. Apparently that's coming back for its final story arc. That's 2020. Just throwing that out because that's something that I realized by him. Oh, and he did the Spider-Man life story. That was another great thing. Any Spider-Man fan should read. I really like that Marvel's been doing these lately. They did it with the X-Men, the Marvel Universe, Spider-Man. Just going through and helping someone catch up. Although the life story wasn't a perfect research tool for Spider-Man, but it was still good to see the old Spider-Man stories in it being told by him. But yeah, Nerdy Blurb agrees that storing single issues suck. No, they do. That's actually what you can see right here. These are some of the. This right here is some of the single issues that I am going to be getting rid of, actually. That's why I have those out to get rid of, because just too many. And I realize a lot of them I don't go back to, so there's just no point in keeping them, especially since I started going digital for a lot of them. Plus with Unlimited and Comixology, just some of them just to me aren't worth keeping anymore because I just have storage issues now, you know? I miss when I had my own room for my whole geekdom, but now kids, gosh. Anyway, back to the podcast. I can bore you with that later. Let's finish talking about these writers and give them their time, which next on the list is going to be Mr. Scott Snyder. Or Mr. Batman, as I was going to say. Originally, I was going to just line it up with a bunch of Batman books because, you know, he's Mr. Batman. That's what I'm going to start calling him. Scott Snyder is Mr. Batman. He writes a lot of great Batman stories. Yeah, because I can't think of one that I didn't like. So Scott Snyder's Mr. Batman. That's the guy I want writing Batman. No, not that I'm not into seeing James Tynion the Fourth's run on Batman because Scott Snyder already had his time. It's just that I like that he gets to do the little side stories. Although I've heard that he's taken a break from Batman, and I'm like, what's that about? So next, sorry, I'm sitting here trying to get to where I can see the chat also. All right. And no, Nerdy Blur, please continue to chat. This is a conversation. I don't mind getting off topic. Like I said, I'm not trying to make it too long, so I'm gonna breeze through the topic and we'll get a chance to chat also. So Scott Snyder, Undiscovered Country is something that he did. The premise of it seems really great, and you'd think I would show my support by getting it, but no, I wanted to wait till the trade came out. It's Image, so I figured it'd be easier to just get the get the trade because Image sells their trades, especially their first volume trades at a discount. So I just figured I'll wait till he finishes the first arc, or the yeah, because I think it's gonna be an ongoing. So the first arc, and then I'll check it out. But besides that, you have Batman Last Night on Earth, which, to be honest, I did the same thing, although I think that just ended. Justice League was great. You had to check that out, because that's how you'd know about the newest, the newest thing that Scott Snyder added to the Green Lantern lore, which was the Ultraviolet rings, and the Batman Who Laughs, which is just a great addition to DC. He's everywhere. I guess that's their way of taking a break from the Joker, which is to use the Joker version of Batman, right? That's how we get a break from the Joker. Um, so, Nerdy Blurb also mentions Scott Snyder did Witches. I don't believe Witches, the second Witches came out in 19, so that's why I'm not mentioning it. But yeah, Witches was my first take on horror in comics, like a real horror comic, and that's Mr. Scott Snyder right there. So I guess I can't just call him Mr. Batman. He's a very talented person who has indie books also. That's why I mentioned Undiscovered Country, which is just now coming out, and very talented writer. I'm a big fan of his. Him and Greg Capullo, so I like when they're together. So that's why I can't wait to get my hands on Batman Last Night on Earth. And take a look at that because I just missed them from New 52. So that's Mr. Snyder right there. And last on the list, who I chose. I chose mostly because of you guys. Because he's another one who was real big, I'd say, in 2018. But without further ado, the person who I'm picking as, I guess I didn't really perfectly put these in order, but I kind of put them in an order, but I didn't. This isn't a perfect list, but number one, Donny Cates. Yes. So, as I said, 2018, I think, would have been a better year to say was Donny Cates' year. When the original Cosmic Ghost Rider story came out, but Revenge was popular. I'm more going to go with Venom. Venom is good, and I really liked Marvel Knights. I remember I was very hyped when that was coming out because I just missed Marvel Knights because Marvel Knights was one of the first. Marvel Knights Spider-Man was coming out when I jumped into Spider-Man seriously. So I just liked the thought of him bringing that back. And his Venom's good. It's still going. I actually was supposed to do a review on my channel for Venom Island. I didn't get to it, and at this point, since I'm behind, I don't know if I'm going to get to it. I kind of realized I didn't do the review of Immortal Hulk either. But back to Donny Cates. Yeah, his Guardians of the Galaxy. Issue 1 came out last year. I think they're on 2, and I did not check it out, so I can't. I can't comment on him much for 2008, 2019, to be honest. Except for Marvel Knights and Venom. So I take that back. I can't comment. It's just I did not do good enough research prior to this podcast, looking at everything that he's done to make sure I give him credit for everything he's done, because I know he's done more than just this. because I remember during the year, or I might be mixing 2018, but I remember during the year thinking that Donny Cates is just doing a lot of things. That really might have been 2018, which is why I was saying 2018 is when I should have given him his credit. But hey, I didn't do this in 2018. I did it in 2019. So this is when he's getting his credit. We'll keep this going. Hey, if you're still watching this, I'm going to ask that you give this a thumbs up, if you don't mind. And so the next topic is going to be the comic of the week, but I really didn't pick one. So, so I'm going to skip by that and just move on to the news. All right, so in comic book news, some of the things that I noticed was I did a good job at not going for the DC app because apparently HBO is going to be doing a lot of DC content, so that seems to be where it's at. HBO is might be getting a lot of what's on the DC app after it comes out. Plus, HBO supposedly is doing the Aquaman, gonna do something for Aquaman and Green Lantern. They did Watchmen. Sorry, they did Watchmen, and that's ending at season 1, which I did not finish it. I do plan on finishing it. I just personally don't have HBO either because I wasn't getting it just for Watchmen. I just go watch it with somebody. And I'm into it, mostly just for the story. To be honest, I completely understand that it was not necessary for it to be in the Watchmen universe. So for all you comic fans out there who don't like the Watchmen series, I completely understand. But the story, what they're trying to say is interesting to me, so I still watch it, and I plan on finishing it. It's cool, but I agree, it was an unnecessary use of the Watchmen lore, because one of the people who I watch it with know nothing about Watchmen, and they are completely getting the story just fine because the Watchmen characters, to the point where I've gotten, just isn't vital in the storyline. So, in other news is CW. They finished their crossover, which is good, and also they're going to be adding Stargirl, which reminds me of The Boys, and that was good. I can't wait for season 2, to be honest, because Prime, that's something, I mean, that's just something you gotta have. So I have Prime, and I did check out The Boys, and that's great. So besides that is The Joker, which is a movie that I know I am in the minority, and I feel like I'm the only person who hasn't seen The Joker still. And that's unfortunately because I am not in control of everything that I see, so some of these rated R things I don't get to see right away. I don't get to go out and see them. So I still haven't seen Joker. I'm going to have to wait till it comes until I get to rent it. So, although apparently it's doing so well that it's probably not worth renting. That's probably something I need to own. Um, but, as far as that goes, so I'm probably gonna do a review on Joker when it comes out to digital, because I'll probably get it and do a review for it then. And that's when you'll finally hear my opinion, that see whether or not I agree with everybody on how fantastic Joker is. Hey, Tevya. I see you've joined. Thank you for joining. Um, so there's also been updates to the Spider-Man 3 movie that's going to be filming soon, and that's great. They need to hurry up and get to that um, because Sony's doing enough stuff. So Sony's doing enough stuff, so we need to get more Spider-Man going because apparently Morbius seems like it looks good. I don't know. I did check out the trailer one time for last week's podcast because I was going to talk about it, but I don't think I even talked about it much. So I rushed through the trailer right before the podcast. That's also part of why this ends up being late, because I'm still setting up for it and prepping everything that I want to prep right before, which is right after bedtime. And I don't know, as a new parent, bedtime still is not the smoothest thing for me. But, hey, you still astonished. I know it's been a while. What's up? Oh, a next piece of news that I noticed was, speaking of Joker, as you can see. Man, I saw that clip of Joker, which actually should. I mean, I do have a segment where I talk about videos that I had seen, and although I didn't prep any videos, that should be the one where in the new Mortal Kombat video game, although I'm not much of a gamer, that's why I expect some of the gamers to actually get this game so I can see some of the footage. Um, what was I saying? Okay, Tevia, I see you're heading out. I appreciate you stopping by, though. Hey, if you liked what you saw so far, please give this a like before you go. And sorry, I know I do this too late. I'm going to try to do this about an hour earlier. But I still appreciate you checking it out, though. Have a good night, man. As I was saying, Joker. I don't know. The clip of Joker in Mortal Kombat that they released to me was just, I don't know, it made me want to play. Because I think that's the last fighting game I have actually was Mortal Kombat versus DC. That's how much of a gamer I have. I have Mortal Kombat versus DC for the Xbox 360. But this one just looks good. The video. So I wish I had prepped and had the link for the video to show you guys. I did not do that. But if you are watching this after it goes live, I will add the link. But next time, I will make sure I have a clip of whichever video I'd like to discuss to show on the live stream. And also in news, you know, there was the Eternals. Updates on the Eternals. And but I don't normally keep up too much with movie news. That's why I can't tell you the details on the Spider-Man movie. Because I like to wait till it's coming out and I see it before I dive too much into the movies. I don't know. I like to be fresh. I like to be surprised. Okay. So, hey, Ronnie, thanks for checking out. Once again, I know it's super late. I at least appreciate you stopping by. Have a good night. But next segment is this week's comics. So, the comics that came out this week. A couple of good things came out. Not much that I actually read, though. Iron Man 2020. Wow, right? Wow, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't know if I wanna. I don't know if I wanna do spoilers. I mean, I should, right? It's Tuesday. You know, okay. So this week I will hold off on spoilers. But going forward, just to let you guys know, on this podcast, when I talk about the comics that came out, I'm gonna include spoilers. All right. But you'll know ahead of you should still watch the podcast. It's not the first thing that I do. I normally talk about whatever the topic is of the week, which this week was Best Writers of 2019. So there's still much for you guys to come in, join, see before we get into the comics that came out. So I'll probably put that to the end of the podcast just so that I am not spoiling anything for anybody who didn't get to read things, because I too didn't even get to read everything that came out this week that I wanted to read. So I can understand that even though it's been a week since they came out, you're just not ready and you don't want them spoiled. But that right there, I'm pointing the wrong way, my bad. That right there, that I wanted to catch it, was a good cover. Variants for DC, that's good. But I'm starting to get out of variants collecting, because that's just reasons to have the single issues that sometimes I wasn't gonna have. Anyway, so let me not ramble. I feel like I'm starting to ramble. Alright, so I was talking about some of the comics that came out last week that I wanted to highlight. Alright, so the ones that I at least will tell you that I like, we're gonna go with Iron Man 2020. Venom the End, I'm gonna say you need to check those out, and I don't know why I'm feeling Jessica Jones, but so those are the three that I'm gonna say you should check out based off of what I did read. I am going to try this weekend to read and get caught up so that by the time this podcast comes out next week, I can give you a better list on what I think is worth reading and not reading based off of what I got, because I guess with this being Tuesday, the comics are coming out tomorrow. And tomorrow, I believe, I want to say it's a good bit of things coming out. Oh, sorry. Good bit of things coming out, and I think a lot of them are good. So I'll try and make sure to have more to say on the new comics for next week. And so this right now is where I wanted to highlight one of the videos. So I'm going to switch this around. After the news will be the video. That way there's more to it to watch instead of before we get to the comics of the week. So I'm not spoiling it. So I'll just keep going. And now we're nearing wrapping up. And so what I wanted to mention was just catch you up on what's going on with the channel. So we have the comics for January 29th. That weekly, every week we put out a video talking about the comics coming out next week. And January 29th's video should be coming out later this week, Friday or Saturday. Hopefully Friday. Hopefully I get it finished and can get it up Friday. Otherwise, there is nothing else video-wise this week until next week's podcast. I wish I knew the topic so I could tell you guys so that you'd have that to look forward to. But at this point, I don't have it. All I have for you is the new comics coming out, websites up, and there's one video that I was looking into doing. There's a topic that I was thinking of for next week. I'm not sure I'm going to do it yet, so stay tuned. I'll let you know that. Oh, I'm sorry, there's other thing coming up. Starting next month, I was going to start doing a giveaway again. With the new weekly comics videos that come out, giving away one of the comics that come out that week to one of the subscribers to the channel. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel and start checking out those videos every week. The goal is to have them out on Fridays, so you can look for them Fridays. But if you're subscribed and ring the bell notification, you'll be notified when that video comes out anyway. So before we leave, I just wanted to give a last opportunity to say thank you to you guys for showing up and joining me. I really appreciate that. And if any of you had any questions or anything before we wrap up, now is the time. Also, I wanted to thank those of you in the chat who came and joined. I actually missed one of you in the beginning, and I'm so sorry about that. Tom's Comic Book and Reviews, Nerdy Blurb TV, Tevia, News to Astonish. Thank you all for showing up on the live stream and joining in the chat. Thank those of you who also joined and didn't join the chat. You're still appreciated. I just appreciate you showing because apparently it seems like some other people are on this. Thank you for giving this a thumbs up. Thank you guys for giving all of the videos a thumbs up. So I'm just pretty much saying my thank yous right now. Thank you guys for subbing. I mean, the channel's grown. Thank you guys for checking out the videos, the live stream. I'm still working on these live streams, trying not to ramble as I'm doing right now, and to just get more smooth about it, you know? Pretty much. That's what I'm trying to do. Get more comfortable being live on camera. And I want to thank you guys for that. So, next time, I'm Eastern time. And here's going to be the goal. 10:30 Eastern. Next Tuesday, January 28th, I believe that is the right day. That is when the live stream is going to come out. And I don't need to be pointing at you. I need to be pointing at me because I'm the one who's messing that up. You guys have been doing a good job of checking it out, even though I know it's late for those of us over on the East Coast. So, without any further ado, I think I am going to wrap it up and just thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. And have a good night.